And hello, welcome back to the Candlepin Pro Series here on Candlepin Bowling Network. This is Leda Lanes in Nashua, New Hampshire. 5-string qualifier, second shift, and across all our qualifiers, the top 24 men and top 6 women will advance to the knockout round taking place later today. My name is Greg Gouillart. I'm alongside Kevin Burns here, and we are featuring lanes 31 and 32. Chuck Desrosiers, you see here, world's captain, gets the 4-8. Cory Aleci off target on his first ball, wearing the Team USA shirt, also of men's international fame. He takes out 2 on the first ball. Desrosiers just off target. And Aleci, no dice either, but a good second ball. Kevin, so Pro Series, and I think we've got a murder's row of bowlers coming up here, just looking down at 30, 29 as well. I think we're in for a treat.
More than a treat. I think we're in for fireworks, actually.
So pop rocks, I suppose.
You know, when you said Leda Lanes, I thought we were at Leda Lighthouse.
Well, it's hard to confuse the two. I mean, Leda Lighthouse now defunct as more efforts are being done to focus on just maintaining this house here. And it's 36 lanes. Those lanes were shorter than the requisite 60 feet in Candlepin Bowling Land, as I recall correctly.
Yes, they were.
Desrosiers 4-1 split, not on the object pin. Aleci, we saw him lose a heartbreaker string to Evan Riva in last year's Pro Series during a singles knockout tournament. He bowls with Team Academy 1 in the Friday Night Pro League.
I do want to mention, so our viewers will know, I know the lights are on 35 and 36. That's actually a little kid's birthday party right next to us here this afternoon.
Ergo not competitive bowling. Although It's kind of nice. Some people say, oh, you should do the Olympics but have a normal sprinter up there with Usain Bolt.
That's kind of like trying to fill a cavity without the drill.
Well, some of us would like it anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
If you're new to Candlepin Bowling, a very special welcome to you. It plays the same as big ball bowling, but 3 balls per frame as you've seen, and any pins in Candlepin alone that are dropped on the plate stay on the plate and can be used as live wood. It's tougher than it looks. Guys are looking for scores of 110s to 120s. The women are in action as well, and Paul Grant should have coverage of that. Cory Aleci gets that spare. It's a game of spares, so that's a good start there.
So I do want to mention that the top 24 men advance to the knockout rounds. The top 6 advance for the female, to the ladies on the other side. Lanes 1 through 17 are being used on the other side. 19 to 32 are being used on this side. Lane 32 moves to lane 1. 17 moves to lane 19.
Desrosiers with a huge 9-drop. Aleci fills 7 on his spare.
Did I forget anything?
Sounds good to me. Chuck Desrosiers on Leda Lane's Mass H, as we refer to the team. Hint, it's an epithet for particularly bad drivers in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. He gets his first spare. Even though Leda Lanes is here in New Hampshire, they're in on it.
Well, they sponsored the World Teams this year.
As they do. They've done that for many years now. Aleci luckless only to get the 1-8 to go around the 5. Yeah, Tyler, you're right. Some people think, oh, well, the ball is smaller. A child can roll it. True, and that's what makes that birthday party over yonder a lot of fun. But on the other hand, you got to be more skillful with it.
But I should mention that the birthday party is using bumpers.
That's true. So you'll see the effects of that as well if you want to idly be curious about it. And if you want to track, let's prefer tracking the scores of the pro bowlers. In theory, you could track the kids' scores as well if you really wanted to. Pull down the YouTube description and see all the scores so you could track all the tournament action. And see all the scores across the way. Desrosiers not good count on his spare here. Aleci is still working on this split here. One of the most frustrating parts of Candlepin. It's so tough. No ball technology, no oil pattern, no mercy. Nice out there. That goes from 3 to 10 for Chucky. And he's got a 49 half.
You know, I just love watching little kids bowl sometimes because they're trying to learn, how can we bowl like the professionals like these guys are?
Well,
I can tell you one thing. It takes a lot of practice, takes a lot of patience, and it takes a lot of time. Trust me, it does take time.
as long as everyone's having fun.
Now, Greg, you know I bowl on the Pro Tour, as like a lot of our viewers do. And I'm surprised nobody asked, how come I'm not bowling? Well, let me clarify one thing. This house is not an easy house.
Ooh, Sears nearly gets that 10 pin to go. He's got it for a spare try.
I was waiting for Sears to throw. But,
Just off target on the head pin.
but let's just say this is not an easy house to bowl. A lot of people think newer pins, better action. It's the opposite. You want older pins for the better action.
So, to make sure I'm understanding that correctly, is it your opposition to the pins per se, or just you don't think you're up for the challenge of the pins? I hope I'm understanding correctly.
Well, when we were off here, you know how I told you a couple weeks ago, and I showed you all my stats for this year?
You were showing me that beforehand. That's
Yeah.
right.
And, of course, you saw that very, very, very low game that I threw. That's what made me decide not to bowl in this tournament.
Just wasn't up for it. Sears loads 7 on the spare.
It's not that I wasn't up for it. I just did not want to deal with.
Ooh, and Soucy's got this half Worcester to go.
I just did not want to have to deal with the BS, if you want to go that route.
Sure.
On how this house can act. But am I going bowl on Easter? Oh, yeah.
Sears, we come back to live. You see the 9 box there. Easter Classic 20-string annual tournament held on Easter Sunday here at Leda Lanes. It's probably, for not being a state or sanctioned international tournament, probably the most prestigious one-house-only tournament one can think of, with champions from Gary Carrington in 1992 to Austin Barnes in 2024.
Austin Barnes threw a 203. He was, I want to say, 10 off the Mike Yao's 213 single string.
Right.
That alone is his.
John Zernicke has thrown 211 in the tournament. Nobody else has thrown 200. Surette came close with, I believe, 199, if my memory serves. And then he went sub 100 the next. Even he acknowledges the irony of.
Dad's muscle memory and all that hoo-bah.
Tough go of it for each there. No 10 boxes either side.
But I do want to, but don't get me wrong. This house is a great house. I mean, it's well kept. It's
gorgeous. 36 wooden lanes here.
They also have cornhole here in the summertime.
They do.
Oh, another strike by Soucy. Somebody called the doctor.
Dr. Seuss, you got it, bud.
I think the pins might need a doctor now.
Yeah. Help, they've fallen, and they'll eventually get back up.
Well, we think
Sears chops right through. We'll see this again.
the last two pins to fall, I want to say, were the 5-7. Yeah, the 5-7 went down simultaneously.
Sears takes a 9 box here, 44. So you see the power, but you do see the 9 boxes here. Soucy's got that second mark there, but punched through on 6-10 on the first one. He's a bowler at, had an injury bug at one point. I think he's recovering more and more. Had a lot of splits on his first ball, I noticed as well. This time he's ended up with 2, but another ball to come.
You like how he raised up the 2 fingers saying, yeah, I got 2 down.
A lot of bowlers do. A lot of bowlers get that wrong, but he knows.
I normally get it wrong because sometimes I can tell.
Soucy isn't polite here at Leda Lanes.
Yeah, he was just fixing the approach on lane 32.
Maybe it was an uneven board or something like that. Sean Sears with a spare. The 3 and the 6. And he sits down on a 54 and a ball half. Sears' biggest claim to fame probably continues to be having recently appeared on Jimmy Kimmel Live, no joke, his rock, paper, scissors championship win. It was a segment dripping with irony on ESPN, but he was the heel, the New Englander nobody likes. But he did in his intro reel feature himself bowling. They never said the word candlepin, but he was most definitely there. At what center, I cannot recall. Cory Aleci. You see the WON Sports and Skins banners there? He's a co-host along with Jordan Britton and the entire Candlepin Corner team. Candlepin Corner on YouTube, our friends over there, covering skins. And that is a fun production on lanes 33 and 34, the classic TV lanes here at Leda. Chucky gets 4 out on the first ball.
Well, look at this lead.
Cory, first ball, 3 and 4. He was one of the first 4 bowlers I covered for an ACST simultaneous match. It's one of the matches I'm least proud of covering. Well, one of the matches I think I did the worst at commentating.
Oh, he hit the cap. He hit the cap and he missed the 3, and the 3-pin didn't go.
Yeah.
That's a tough look.
7 there. I just wasn't a good commentator that day was all. We'll take another look why, and you see that's the trouble with end caps. It deflects the ball away, and that's that. Desrosiers. Head pin right down the middle.
How about a spread eagle plus the 8-pin?
And Cory's got a wrong way triangle. At least he has wood there. But 5, 6, and 9.
I hate these kind of triangles. These barely go.
With the wood, though, is it too deep in? He'll try it. On the cap, and this time it darn near gets it. He got the parallel pins with it.
I think it was more on the red line. The solo ball might have taken it, but
there we go.
there's the 10.
Match is not head-to-head, but you can see how gaining 3 pins can make a difference in your string. That's right. Top 6 women, top 2 first-round bye. That is confirmed. Thank you, Nico, for making darn sure. Top 24 men, top 8 will make a first-round bye in the knockout round to come. That's distinct from elimination, which we had in past Pro Series events where the top half of the field, wherever they might be, move on. This time, it's a direct head-to-head comparison. Desrosiers the 1, 3, 5, 8, 9. And just on the 8-pin. Aleci got the 4 on the 1, 3, 6, and 9.
Cory pulls for one of the Academy teams on the Friday Night Pro League.
Academy 1, captained by Justin Scally. Academy 2, captained by Dave Godwin. And Academy 3, captained by Dave Hodge Mallahan. He gets another 10 box here, 84 through 8.
I was looking at the list of bowlers for this tournament. You know whose name I did not see? Sean Baker.
Interesting.
And I also didn't see Chris Bovier's name on it as well.
It's possible they signed up late, we'll see, but you got to get a date to the dance in this doubles format as well, even though I can't think of many bowlers who wouldn't want that caliber of bowler alongside. No problem with either of their character, that's for sure. Chuck's got a 2-4-6, evens up. This is going to come all the way across, but the cap stops short. Aleci misses the single. We'll take a peek here. Look how close that comes. Just comes to a screeching halt.
He placed a pin too.
Probably just got off target there. He knows the pin is the objective. See the pin, play the pin, as they say. Aleci again with 10. So even though he's only got the 1 mark, he can go with 110s, and that's the power of all 9s and 10s.
A little up the head pin. 1, 8, 10.
Ooh, and now Cory's going to have to pin for his life here as he has the 8-pin hanging as well. Desrosiers has wood in front of the 8 and the 10, and not the 10-pin. The Bakers are out of office, so to speak. Sounds good. Justin Scally, thank you for confirming that. That's the way it goes. Pro Series are monthly events. They are scheduled in advance, but sometimes that's the way it goes. Chuck Desrosiers, you saw that wave off motion there. That's him indicating he thought that hit the wood in the gutter first. So in the spirit of sportsmanship and the letter of the rules, he waves that off, and that'll be a 9-box. That pin doesn't count. Aleci, tough third ball there. So tough. Follow-up didn't get the object pins, but he sure nailed it on the first ball, and that 5-box is the thanks he gets. So loses all those pins on the end, but it was a pretty solid foundation up until then, and that's the precision it takes to really get a good score here, especially when you're being forced to throw 3 balls at a time. That's Soucy. See ya, 6-7 strike. John Sears.
Oh, banana split.
There
Where's
it is.
Casey?
The old Paul Grant joke, Casey Split always wants the banana splits.
Well, Linda Burnett just said the Bakers are in Hawaii.
Ah,
I'll be there in August, and I can't wait.
nice.
That's why I said during the first qualifier, I might not be. I'm going to try and be here for the ladies' internationals.
Mm-hmm.
But that's going to be very, very tough because that week I have to try. That weekend is like my last weekend to get everything set.
Sean Sears, I believe mostly out of Canal Lanes. He certainly organizes tournaments out of there. I really ought to know the name of... That's going to bother me if I don't know this.
What are you trying to figure out?
It's... Her name is Joan, but I forget the last name of that. I believe former member of ownership at Canal Lanes. I'm so sorry. Spare for the 1-3-10. Desrosiers, after a 6 fill, a 10 box. Sorry to take my eye off the ball there, but it's going to bother me if I don't get this. Half Worcester for Soucy. And a strike by Sears. Fired up about that one, and that's on a spare. Soucy 5-6-10. We'll take a peek at it after he throws this next one. So there we go. 9 box for Soucy. And this beautiful shot. Just all at once.
No doubt about that one. That was like right in the pocket.
That's Soucy. On the business end of that Nicholas Machowski comeback during skins that we saw out of Boutwells in Concord, New Hampshire. He takes out 4 first ball. Sears just a half Worcester to start. Soucy 3-5. Looking for sticks on this strike here. Sears gets a few more. That's 6. And now has to pin out. Joan Yamelkowski, thank you. I wasn't 100% certain about the syllables there. But Tyler, and I feel like I have a guess as to your last name. If you're the bowler, I think you are. 10 box for Soucy and 8 for Sears. Yes, Joan Yamelkowski, I believe former ownership at Canal Lanes, if memory serves correctly. Either way, a wonderful bowling center in Southampton, Massachusetts that I personally have not had the chance to see, but a lot of people swear by. And former host of Let's Go Bowling, the former Springfield TV show. Sears having a fine string here. He's going to have to work for this 120 a bit, but he's got a 3-1 split with which to do it. Matt Soucy outposting a 10. A 4 horsemen in a 10, I should say. Doesn't get it to go there. 3-1 split for Sears. Wants to get on this 3-pin thin, just a little too far to the right. Soucy, both bowlers really get down to the lane as they fire here. That's, of course, good technique there, but it seems as though there's a decided drag to their technique. 7 and an 8, and you see the full scores here. A partnership total for Aleci and Sears is 218 in the first one, 189 for Desrosiers and Soucy, and we're looking for about 220s or so, and I think that's that. So 220s is the absolute minimum, and I think the cut will likely be even higher than that. So these singles knockout matches, I think if it's Tyler O'Brien, like I think I am, one of my greatest regrets about covering the singles knockout is that I didn't get at all a good camera angle of you and Nick Stuffalato's thrilling single string showdown when you were tied. And I believe, was that at Alley Cat in Kingston, Mass? I think that tournament was. That was a ton of fun where Scott LaPierre defeated Dean Sullivan in the finals. But alas, I think my remote camera setup is a little better right now. At least we have Ethernet cables now. So maybe, just maybe, in case there's emergency coverage. Now I'm wrong, but I can't see the profile picture good enough. I'll stop trying to dox you on the air, and we'll take a break here. Second string coming up in just a moment. It's a box away, but we'll take a brief audio timeout, and we'll be right back. Hello, hello. Second string of 5 underway. It's Josh Daley and Aaron St. Cyr. Josh Daley currently number 1 in the Pro Series table. And Aaron St. Cyr, defending Pro Series playoff champion. Tim Douglas, top of the points table for Bowler of the Year, a distinct Pro Series title. Full complete standings. Full complete standings are available on the Candlepin Pro Series on Facebook. You can get there even without a Facebook account. I don't blame you either way. The info's all there. Both punch out a half Worcester in these not directly linked matchups, but they will be linked in just a moment. Knockout matches coming on up. On another stream in just a moment. I swear I made that pin cam as tall as I can. Aleci out for 3 more pins. Half the pins on the third ball's a pretty good one, considering what he's left with. Daley has to settle for a 6. Josh Daley, number 1 in the Pro Series points table. 1 at Academy, 1 at Olendes, besting one of the Fontaine brothers each time. Had a decent finish at Boutwells. Didn't do as well in Augusta, but there were some high scores that day, including legendary performances by Madison Riva and Nick Leach, which a great disappointment to Danny Harris and Sonia Johnson, who thought they would take it after that first shift. 2-4-10 doesn't work out for Aleci. 5 pin for Daley alone. His Central 3 team getting a harsh setback after dropping 8 to Exeter in last night's position match. He gets a spare here, and his team that he captains still first place. Central Park Lanes out of East Boston. Distinct from the Academy Lanes Worlds team, which he and Mike Machichi co-captain. Mike Machichi's ability to attract talent. He also captains a mixed worlds team that hasn't been a champion recently, but is at high finishes. Gone far. Cory, 6 pin, wants to fall. He's still trying to pull the string this side of things. But no pins on strings here. It's Candlepin, buddy. 7 drop for Daley on the spare. Tough fill. Tough leave, rather. That's gone. Covered. Cory Aleci, 25 and a ball. Daley, one of the hardest throwers in the game. Wow. Rang around the 10 pin. And guess what? Corners are full. There's always that one leave that we see time and time again, and it seems to be the 7-10. Still, it remains, at least the pin sweep never misses the 7-10, so we'll just hit the button on this one. Yes. Basic fact of Candlepin.
You know how I mentioned before, time and time again, that I think Daley's going to challenge a lot of Tommy Osa's records? He's still on that piece.
He did only get his first team's title this season, but it seems as though just a matter of time for him. There's a lot still on his list. World Singles to name one.
Easter.
He hasn't had a 200 single, but that's not as high a priority.
No, I'm saying him winning Easter.
That too. He's been third a few times. I don't think ever second, but he's had a couple of high finishes now. A 10 box for Cory. Co-host of Candlepin Corner alongside Jordan Britton, who I shared the mic with for one broadcast of the Worlds. Tyler, if I hadn't lost count, I'd have had one on screen already. Could have a Nico Pujar low-light reel at this point. Them's the breaks sometimes. Daley. Josh has the 3, 4, 6, and 7. Cory looking to get the 7-pin cluster on the third ball. Daley, no dice on that slice. And just 2 more, so 5. For better or for worse on pinning. And there it is. So tough halves by both their standards, and now it brings up the defending Pro Series champion Aaron St. Cyr alongside Sean Sears. Names that are only near rhymes but not spelled nearly the same. Price's wood floors at one of the championships during the so-called U.S. Invitational when COVID-19 canceled international tournaments, along with the many other things in this world. So glad those days appear to be in the past. 5-pin. Head pin tips over. I think that was worth more alive than dead, and you see St. Cyrs' dejection. Sean's missed this 5-pin. I think he had one of those misses earlier. Team USA made a deep run, losing out to A-plus Accounting, who then lost out to Josh Daley's Academy Lanes team. We saw Justin Waters and Danny Harris earlier on that championship team as well. Sears takes 10 and St. Cyr 8. Cory Packard and Jeremy Seaholm were on the active roster. And Nick Norcross becomes a 3-time champion with Academy Lanes, along with a number of other bowlers on that team. And Charlie Collins as well, how could I forget? Right down the middle for Aaron. 3-4, 3, and then the 2-4-7, excuse me. Not wrong, just misordered. 3-6 Sears. Just on the wood, and it doesn't come forward into the 3. St. Cyr hits the cap, and thus he's still got an awkward split to work out of. Ten here and an 8. Taking a look at the standings here for bowlers who've paid their Pro Series dues and are thus accruing Pro Series points. Sean Sears currently in 31st place, wants to be in 24th to get into the playoff picture with this and the singles knockout at Timber Lanes to come. Josh Daley, top of the shop, as we mentioned, and Aaron St. Cyr, our defending playoffs champion, is in 15th right now. Nice one. Strike. So after a couple of 8 boxes, St. Cyr loads up big. Sears spares. I can only show one great shot. It'll have to be this strike. St. Cyr crosses over but doesn't leave a king this time. Now he loads his strike up. 7 to begin. Sears 7 on the head pin. A good shot. Very solid string working for him. Aaron gets 8 on the strike despite missing the head pin twice. The power of power, as long as you're in the neighborhood. He's been on either side of the head pin. Now he gets it, and he's got a 9. Bowlers do not have to go strictly ball for ball. You can see Sears now taking aim at it, and he gets a 9. The lanes are not strictly speaking attached. As long as you don't cut off the bowler, especially on your right, you are allowed to bowl your pace. Now in the knockout round, they will probably go ball for dramatic effect, and just to make sure they don't get too far ahead and they know what they need to succeed. Sean Sears, who will delightfully type his name in as Macy's on the overhead scorer at times, has the 7-10. 1-5, about the perpendicular opposite of this for St. Cyr. Wood that's threatening to take the head pin away, if anything. Good luck with this, Sean. Well, we can't give you 3 for that. We can't even give you 1 in Canadian rules. St. Cyr drives right through, and he's got the spare on the 1-5. A solid 2-mark half. Neither time does it for Sean. He's got a 54 half. Aaron St. Cyr 53 plus. There we are. It brings up Daley and Aleci in the second string of 5 qualifying. Just about all the lanes in use, including for said aforementioned birthday party over yonder on 35 and 36. All the rest here are Pro Series action. But all the other times, Leda Lanes in Nashua, New Hampshire. On Amherst Street. Come check it out if you're in the area, or might be soon, or maybe one day. We're patient folk. You can come by when you like. Daley crushes the head pin and gets a 9-drop. Aleci covers his head pin for a spare. Early 10 pin. Cross lane for a lefty. It's good. 60 and a ball. So around me here, 36 lanes, just about all full with action. A gumball machine and arcade machine sitting idle in a caged area behind here in Nashua. The same house that still has overhead light fixtures you can see above 33 and 34, which were the same fixtures used to illuminate the stars on Candlepin Stars and Strikes on the old Channel 50 show. Down to earth, Aleci misses. He has an 8 fill in that spare. Daley the chance to really show some skill here. He's got the 5 and 7, and Woody wants to try and tag for the same price, but he only gets it. Perhaps the gap was just a little too far apart. Aleci 10. Sorry about that, the pin cam shakes at times. And Daley, a 9. I should have hit the replay button on that, but I think the gap was just a little bit too wide for both the ball and the pin. Now, if Daley had tagged the 5 pin, the ball, being lighter than the pin, that old chestnut, could have deflected over, but it didn't. Cory looking down at his hand, worried about his release. First ball gets away. Josh Daley, Atlantic Candlepin Singles Tour champion to top it all. Unable to compete this year. I think scheduling just didn't permit. An on-demand league, and yet scheduling the matches can be a tough one. Bowlers have to agree on the times, which is both a blessing and a difficulty at times. At least he got that pin to fall late. Daley spares. Right through on the cap. Narrows the target, if anything, and if you hit the cap on either side, it threatens to deflect it all away. Aleci takes 10. Pro Series points are awarded to high finishes in this very 5-string qualifier. Sure, it may be only qualifying, but for determining who makes it to the year-end playoffs, it is everything. And then the top 24 pairs will make it on to the knockout round. 1-string matches, and deep finishes there will award yet more Pro Series points. Most at the end becomes Bowler of the Year, and then whoever wins the playoffs becomes Pro Series champion, like Aaron St. Cyr. That is also another title Daley might be after here. Like everyone, but he is routinely the favorite wherever he goes. Nice shot by Aleci. Makes that spare. Daley gets the 10. Sorry, folks, I had to answer a question there. Tough to not get that 9-pin drop there, but as we see it now, both are having solid strings, both 3 marks. And you see the score differences generated by the fills and by the pinning. Actually, pinning is pretty comparable. It's pretty much the loads, though. Aleci gets 6 on his. Hey, he's got this shot. Incredible spare. Daley misses it. We got to see this again. Triangle number 2 in the 10. Tags the 4, tags the 10. Incredible. Josh still pondering his 3rd ball. Aleci will shoot again in the 10th. Daley's 8 brings him to 114. Aleci, head pin, caves out 7 instantly, and he has a 115. So a blockbuster spare by Cory Aleci brings him up to a good score for his partner Sean to build on. Aaron St. Cyr, meanwhile, at 114, you could say the same. Head pin, not the 10 pin. Sears has a good chance here if this wood doesn't foil the effort. 1, 3, 6, and 9. One could argue it probably still barrels through. Even if Sears hits the cap, the momentum of his ball may still take it. So one has to think he's optimistic. Basic rule of Candlepin, you must not hit the pin in the gutter. And he's threaded the needle. 1-3. St. Cyr spares. 18 and another. 71 and a ball through 6. That'll go. You see how it barrels right through. Sean Sear 64 through 6. I mentioned that Murderers Row coming up. You see Dave Barber and Brian Crowell, 2 TV superstars on 29 and 30. We'll see them in just a moment. Properly featured here on 31 and 32. Leda Lanes in Nashua, New Hampshire. Greg Gouillart alongside Kevin Burns here on Candlepin Bowling Network. Kevin's on break right now. That's why you haven't heard from him in a while. On Sears, a chance to do another 3-in-1 split. Can he match Cory? He wants to, but he just shaded a little too far right for the 3-pin. St. Cyr, 7 fill, light on it. Tough one, got his object pin, but just too little of it to make a difference. John's got that shot off the wall as well. Stick with 9, St. Cyr 10. Candlepin bowling, a specialty of northern New England and eastern Canada for the time being. It'll be tough to have the growth we're after until people are really making the pin setter machines again in full force, if and when that day comes. No strings attached. We can't tangle all this wood up. That would just be nigh impossible to work with. So, will free fall pin setters come back into vogue? We'll see. It's the only way at this point.
Oh, at least I'm back.
Good to see you again, my friend.
Well, I was sitting right next to you. I was just on my lunch break.
But the folks didn't know that, so I can lie all I want.
That's exactly. Well,
Sears got 3-1 out on the spread eagle, but didn't get it all. Sears, St. Cyr right down the middle.
so you mentioned the star power that's coming up with Barber and Brian Crowell. Let's not forget about Arson Barnes, who just won this past year's Easter Classic, and with him is a legend in his own right, future Hall of Famer Jeff Surette.
What a pairing. Surette and Barber are the partnership, and then Barnes and Crowell. Sears got his head pin. It crumbles on the right side, and now 2 pieces of wood right in front of the 4-pin. St. Cyrs right down Amherst Street. He's got the 3-1 split. That's good. Doesn't get Paul Berger there. No wood swiveling either side of the pin. Nice shot! 3-1 split conversion for Aaron St. Cyr. We've got to see that one again. He gets on the right side of the 3-6 with that left to right ball, so it's so difficult to access that pocket, but he does. There we go. Excuse me. Fumbling with the scoreboard later. We see Sean Sears with a 7 drop on his spare. Aaron's clipped this head pin just enough, and the fill is high. It is 9 for a 116 through 9. Sears. On the 1-3, yes, the 3-pin drops out. Doesn't matter how. If it wasn't for the lame-o with the camera, no one would ever know. Aaron St. Cyr with his 5th mark, 126 in a ball, superior string. So he and his partner will combine for about 240s or so. Sean's got this one. Neither the 7 or 8 feels like falling today, apparently. Aaron's got 7. Aaron St. Cyr, 133. Sean Sears a 117, and you see the full scoreboard here after the 2nd string on our featured pair. Daley and St. Cyr combined for 247, so about a 123.5 average, exactly, in fact. And Aleci and Sears, you can work that one out, a 116 average, which is fine. May make the cut, may want to be stronger on the next one, but definitely still in the running. 3rd string of 5 coming on up. And remember, for complete scores, you can go on to the Cubica Score. And for our previous standings, Candlepin Pro Series on Facebook, that information again is in the YouTube description. or else I'll just remind you again in a second. Third string of 5 coming up. We'll take a brief audio timeout. Please stay tuned. We should be back in just a few boxes worth of time. See you in just a moment. Stand by, folks. Third string of 5 should get going in just a moment here. We are waiting on a frame or two to complete on the other side, but we should be clicking on again in just a moment. All right, I've made the executive decision to just click on back here. Looks like we're still getting set here, but I wanted to bring you folks back up to speed as we begin our third string of 5. Remember, we're taking the top 24 men and top 6 women. Tough for us to get access to the scores. I haven't yet seen a printout yet, but as soon as we have that report, we'll have that for you so that we can post it to Candlepin Bowling Network Facebook. This is Greg Gouillart speaking alongside Kevin Burns here on Candlepin Bowling Network, and we are here at Leda Lanes in Nashua, New Hampshire for this penultimate regular season Pro Series stop. Monthly series of events across multiple bowling alleys and multiple formats. This one being the doubles knockout.
There's like, what, 2 double knockouts and a couple of single knockouts a year. Plus you had the mixed doubles, which is a 10-stringer.
And the skins tournament was the oddball format.
Oh, boy.
Crossover sleeve, whatever that is for Daley, he's got that. And Jeff Surette, no stranger to these lanes here at Leda, wearing the Lucky Strike World's team shirt, championship team in its own right. 2-4-70 spares to begin.
I feel bad for Daley. Daley has the 4, 5, 6, 7, 10.
He was taking a conference with how to play that wood. Unfortunately, there's just not much he could do there.
There's really nothing you can do with that.
Tried to play the right wood, and that's pretty much the prudent way out of that one. 9s are fine in that situation. Jeff mixes out 7. We saw him throw a perfect string, that is to say all 10 spares at strikes during the first string at one Easter Classic coverage I did. And streaming that Easter Classic, probably one of the greatest joys I have in doing this. Ooh, 3 and 6. Jeff dejected not to get that one. Daley rips away 2 pins, so 2 consummate pros getting stymied by the pins. Now Jeff is curious if that, well, that deadwood must be in play because it's partially on the pin plate.
It is. He's just trying to figure out what do I have to do to get the 9 pin. You know, and Jeff, like I do, yeah, he played it exactly like I thought he would.
There's just really no way around it, unfortunately.
Unfortunately, no.
Both bowlers end up throwing left to right. Josh Daley, of course, with the traditional cross lane delivery. Surette, a righty, but throws decidedly from the left side. Like many do, it's just most noticeable to me in his case. You see it here.
How about a half whistle for Jeff Surette?
His team Exeter now only 1 point behind Daley's team in the Friday Night Pro League.
You know, I wonder if Daley is saying to himself, how did I get stuck next to him after I had to bowl him last night?
Well, the Killjoy literal answer is a random draw of lanes before we started. Of course, everyone picks their partners. It's not a random draw of doubles, but there you are. Daley has won this event before. He won it alongside Jimbo Ayotte and then beat Ayotte in one round of a singles competition that took place here at Leda in the month following. That was a few years ago, that. It's a 5%.
Oh, Daley finally got a strike.
Yes, he did. We will see that in just a moment.
I wonder if he'll get a Daley double.
That old chestnut.
Another half whistle.
But he is one of the most likely to do it. Here it is again. No doubt about it. Classic Candlepin strike.
And Jeff buries the pocket. No such luck.
Daley's got the 5-pin only. Denied a double.
So no Daley double, so he doesn't double his money on his on the first one. I would with Josh Daley, you gotta
spare.
You gotta bring in the Jeopardy puns, if you know what I mean.
Of course. It's hard for me to keep track of the tournament scene. I mean, people talk about tournament saturation and Candlepin bowling. Jeopardy, on the other hand, is what? A celebrity tournament, an instant second chance tournament, tournament of champions. That's always been true since Alex Trebek days, but it's hard to keep track of it all. And now you've got pop culture Jeopardy as well, which is just its own, like, cinematic Marvel universe of its own. I'm starting to lose track here. But at least they put the big Jeopardy letters back in the set, so I'm happy.
But you can't get that damn song out of your head.
Well, people just sing it badly and off-key. That's when it's bad. But they could change the rendition. It's been the same one since 2008. But we digress here. Surette has a 49.5, and Daley gets his 2 marks. And now it brings it over to Dave Barber, co-pro series organizer, alongside Nate Lees, Nick Zuffalato, and of course, Allie Barber, Lori Lewis, and Samantha Zuffalato. Both of them have horseman variants.
Oh, Dave Barber has been part of the Pro Series since I got on. Oh, what a shot by Sincere.
Take a peek here.
4 horsemen plus the 7.
Yeah, 6-man drops last. Interesting.
Normally that would go simultaneously, but that didn't.
Barber begins with a 9. Dave Barber nearly set a house high 5 record at 1-7-10 in Augusta, Maine, just last event. For all the records that did get shattered that night, Dave Barber almost added to the list.
You ready for this? Kai Hunt right now. 18, 28, 47, 65 working on a strike. 75 half plus 2.
75 plus 2 at the half. That's a fire.
Did you mention on this
fireballer out of the state of Maine?
Did you mention on this stream on how they can follow along if they wanted to?
Yes. All the information is in the YouTube description. You can't say it too many times, absolutely. Go to the YouTube description. You can see the Cubica online score and mentions of the Candlepin Pro Series Facebook page for past and present statistics at this time.
And trust me, I will get all the statistics.
Whoa, he's made this one! Dave Barber on the 5 and 7. It goes for a 10 box. I'm sorry to get a little too hype about that, but that was some shot.
And no wood to boot. Played it on the outside, and it just went in.
I'll hype it anyway.
Barber, same lead. 5. Well, this time it's a 5-7.
Yep, Saints here at a 6 fill on that first one. It says the official score. We go with that. Got the 4 horsemen. He can make this one again, maybe, but instead have to settle for less. I'm still getting way too hype about it, clearly. No dice on the 4 horsemen. Dave's third ball goes for 9. He gets good pinning so far. You could say the same about Aaron, even though he leaves that one standing. Third string of 5. Tyler in chat mentions it, and we are reading your chat comments. Candlepin Bowling Network here on YouTube. Great crowd already for just the qualifiers, and it's about to get even crazier as we whittle it down to the doubles knockout round to come. Speaking of whittling down, Barber gets all those sticks to crumble. Aaron St. Cyr with a strike. And Barber spares. Strike Phil doesn't start well, but still a second ball to come. Barber. Dave's got on this head pin. He's an alumnus of the Candlepins for Dollars show and CN8 30K Candlepin Challenge.
He threw a 197 on that show.
His then high single at the time. St. Cyr close. Good count, though, on the strike.
Oh, what a shot.
Got it. Wood may have wired it, but it was the 3, 7, 9, and 10.
So that shot does actually go. I had that lead like 3 times this week, and I couldn't get it to go once.
And here's how. He does get on that wood, which twirls it through into the 7 pin. Good start for both, especially for Daley and St. Cyr, who are already on pace to average 120 again. Plus, Daley's working on a bonus ball. Surette's been getting a little shut down by the pins of late. Daley, 10 pin. You just expect it out of his hand every single time, don't you?
You almost do.
Don't we? I mean, the royal you, as it were. 3-5. Surette's a good chance here. Daley covers his. And 3 marks in a row. No bonus money on this program, but we did have it for Candlepins for Cancer. Oh, ho, 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 and the 2-pinner does go for Surette. Take a look at how this pin just twirls through the air. The more unorthodox way to make a shot that you thought would be more wire than that. Ball threatened to deflect it away, but the wood action took it out.
Unreal.
Surette was recently in another one of Nico Pujar's YouTube shorts featuring a pin that just spun for an eternity before eventually converting a spare for Surette during the Friday Night Pro League.
I was there for that one, remember?
The Candle Spin Bowling sequel that was titled.
I was
Really
there
tough
for,
fill, and the fill is 9 for Surette.
I was there for that one because
You were in the gallery, yes.
Yeah.
New England, no, I'm conflating it. That was another week where New England knockout finals were there. Spare again, back to back.
Vintage Surette right now.
And he still does very well. He worked his way up to runner-up the same year Austin Barnes won it. Where he is now. 2 boys in gray. That's first and second in the Easter Classic right there on your screen. The spare fill is a luckless 6 on the head pin. Little thin, one could say, since the 2-pin didn't fall. Still harsh to say.
Oh yeah, I jumped right into the booth right when right after I finished, because there was no way I was going to let that one go.
Daley's first ball. 3, 6, 8, and 10. Not a bad one. And the 7-pin shuts down Jeff.
The 7-pin is saying no bonus money for you.
No, the bank is closed. Daley twirls the wood right side and gets it. Don't want to play it flat there. That doesn't cover the 10-pin. Surette 10, here's what I mean by that. And you see here, he'll get it on the right side of this. And by playing the cap, gets the revolution, the rev rate he needs to convert this. So that's better. That's a 9 drop unless that wood gets bumped into the 8. It's not.
It's on the 8. It touched the 8, but not enough for the 8 to go down.
Surette 2-4-7, so Daley's got his 4 marks and great pinning. Pinning was how he won that match against Joey Lister for the ACST title. He spares again.
Oh my God, it was so hard trying to keep up with them.
Jeff just off target on the 2-pin.
Oh my God, I'm doing the stats, and Paul was like, what are the fills? You know, it's like, Paul, with the way he's bowling, you can't keep track on what his fills were.
Jeff's got 10. Jeff was the hot new kid on the block when he was the star of Channel 50 at a Candlewood Bowling Center.
Yeah, that was in North Reading. I bowled there a couple of times.
And now he's the great bowler he ever was just now. He's a father to kids.
Oh, boy.
Hello to Kristen if you're watching out there and all.
Oh, boy.
Missing middle here for Surette, missing the middle row. Daley's got an 8 count, and what pins are those standing by chance?
The goalpost?
The 7-10. But there's one in the middle this time. I wonder if Daley wanted to get more on the junction of it. He's muttering to himself as he so often does. He expects to make every shot. Surette tags the 7-pin as well, and he spares in the 10th. Daley gets his 10, and we'll see how. 7-pin is the last to fall. That's the power of a wall shot there, and that was nice pin action. Josh Daley, 137.
Jeff puts in 6, 7. It'll be 7.
Yep, 7's all he gets there. Hey, 121, very solid work there. Daley, 137. Even if St. Cyr gets just 10s the rest of the way, they pin out 125. Or if he gets all 9s all the way, they still have an average of 240. Bring it here. Barber on back-to-back spares, heating up a bit. Notice how important the pinning is. Nobody's below a 9 here. Aaron, 7-pin out.
Thank God, we've seen too many of those.
Tough start to this one for Barber. You see the fill here, except for the fact that the scorekeeper got it wrong. 10-pin is missed by Aaron. Dave's got the 3 and 5. So in just a moment, this doubles knockout will begin. A couple strings from now. In a single elimination bracket, as you'd expect, 1-string matches. Top 24 men advance, top 8 first-round bye. Women's coverage in progress as well on Paul Grant's stream, also on Candlepin Bowling Network YouTube. Top 6 women advance, top 2 get a first-round bye.
Hello, Cory.
Based on tournament turnout. Bundle of 5, 4-7.
In a clear.
With wood in front.
In a clear.
Indeed.
A little light.
Bob Caleri's name will never leave.
No.
Pro bowler out of Lexington, Mass, if memory serves. He also featured on Channel 50 Stars and Strikes. Let's see, that should be a 9. It looked fair from this angle, but the bowler has the best view of it.
He called it a 9.
Did he?
Yep.
I still show a 10 on... No, interesting, I show a 9 from the box previous, so... Oh, I did have it right. By the way, that is a 10 officially, so we're going to go with that. I have also shortchanged Aaron by a pin somehow, so he had a 7 in that first fill. There we go. Accuracy in reporting, and you see all the scores now correct. 4 horsemen and a half Worcester, 2 traditional leaves in candlepin bowling. St. Cyr just the 3 and the 6. Barber, son of Jim Barber, Hall of Famer. 5-pin wobbles. Dave Barber, I said he was president of he is now president of the Friday Night Pro League. It's an alternating title he has with John Zappi, who is now vice president. That's in the charter of the league that the vice president and president alternate. And runs the men's international tournament. And co-organizer of the Pro Series and president of the Candlepin Bowlers Association, which I do have rumblings is going to get started. I was actually talking with Dave Chestercove recently, and looks like meetings are about to get into full force here. You know, we're all busy people with lives for sure, and you know, Dave and Dave are both fathers as well. That takes time and all they do. So great to have them in charge now and possibly getting the CBA really up and running now. High on the wood, it's a spare for Barber. St. Cyr collects his 10 box. Candlepin Bowlers Association, meant to be basically more of a bowlers advocacy organization, organized in a sort of parallel way to the International Candlepin Bowling Association, Bowling versus Bowlers Association, which is more a proprietor-sided thing, which is an important perspective to have. For rules like, say the lob line rule, the most politically fraught one of them all, and how much of an advantage it is to deploy the ball over that red shark tooth line you see about 10 feet in front of the foul line. But it protects the wood lane, so balls should be let go before the red line. Nice spares by each. You're going to see St. Cyrs in just a moment. But watch as that gets all tangled out. Go again, Kevin.
But the question is, with Barber's new organization, are they going to take over for the ICBA down the line?
Doubt it. I think the two parallel perspectives are very necessary. It's just two truths on different sides of the coin in effect. Tough finishes for both, but still solid strings despite that. A 113 and a 115. All scores you see are unofficial anyway, but this is what we have. Josh Daley and Aaron St. Cyr, 252, and Jeff Surette and Dave Barber, 234. For complete scores, to peek around at other bowler scores, you could go around to the Cubica score. You can pull down the YouTube description for that, folks, and all the information is there. But great to have you along here. The penultimate qualifying string will begin in just a moment. taking a look around, just making sure there are no big scores here. I see Brian Allard on 121. We'll see him in a moment. But you can take a good look here on Cubica AMF scoreboard as well, now that we've migrated away from the pro scorer here at Leda Lanes. So we will take a break here and begin the fourth string of 5 in just a moment. We will be right back. We'll be getting started with string 4 or 5 in just a moment. A few more boxes to go, and then all bowlers will rotate, and we'll get started with the penultimate qualifying string in just a moment. Hey, before you do, though, please, please like the video if you're logged into YouTube by hitting the thumbs up button. That way more people will see the video. Or if nothing else, you could save your precious like for the knockout rounds to come. That'll be its own separate stream, and as long as we get that one out there, I think that'll be the most important one for people to watch back in just a moment. But either way, just your support by watching really helps out Candlepin Bowling Network and our mission to get the best of the best and the best of the rest, who could be the best of the best one day, out there to YouTube land. So thank you all very much, and we'll get started with the next string in just a moment. And welcome back. String 4 or 5 is about to get started. Here are the names we see here. Austin Barnes, previous Easter Classic champion, 20 stringer here at Leda Lanes, Nashua, New Hampshire. That'll take place again Sunday, April 20th. That's not a hard date to remember. Alongside Brian Crowell, member of World's runner-up team Fenway Academy, not to be confused with the Academy Lanes team I mentioned is the current men's international champion. Jeff Surette wearing the Lucky Strike shirt. Well, that's the howdy-do. That's the welcome to Leda Lanes you get at times. Barnes gets the 4 horsemen. Well, I call this one the W, even though the bowler that leaves it is taking an L for sure. Greg Gouillart alongside Kevin Burns here on Candlepin Bowling Network. Let's see if he can pull off a circus shot. And I'll tell you what, getting the front 2 pins is some feat. Barnes sweeps out the head pin just.
Backdoor that.
Jeff's wondering, hey, wait a minute, I hit the head pin. Come on. Well, he sure did, and we're going to see why this didn't generate anything good. Yeah, so it's too full, basically.
Wait, the look on his face is priceless.
Goodness. Now, I have a question.
Might have an answer.
Is that score entered in?
No, it didn't.
Because I'm actually having a hard time. I'm blanking on what box he got, honestly.
That was the first box.
Yeah, that was the first one. But the silly commentator can't remember what he got in that frame because he was so hung up on trying to get the angle of the delivery. Well, we'll get that sorted out sooner or later.
I'm pretty sure they're gone.
I thought it was a 9, but we'll confirm that. I'm so sorry, folks.
It was a 9.
Okay, thank you. I would like to see that shot again. Somehow that 3-pin got swept out from behind. 8 box. I still can't figure out well that 3-pin fell, I tell you what. Now it's all entered in properly.
Oh, he's gone from bad to worse.
Well, 5-9-10's not impossible then again.
But then again, that piece of wood.
Austin, is this going to go back door? 1-2. Who needs the head pin? Oh, my goodness. Such a working ball the way Barnes propels that. It's so much shoulder motion in it.
A lot of shoulder, not a lot of arm swing.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, think about Jason Belmonte. Style. The way Barnes hops reminds me a little bit of what Belmo does in 10-pin.
I see, with his two-handed delivery.
Yes.
Makes sense.
I mean, watch.
When it's viewed that way, yeah.
But I'm saying, watch closely on what he does.
Candlepin Bowling does not have any two-handed bowlers, meanwhile making it big.
Thank God. How about an invert triangle for Surette?
Yep.
All right, now watch Barnes.
Yeah.
See? Very similar to Belmont.
Reminds me also of Scott Douglas, who sort of has a hop step in his delivery as well to a certain extent.
I've been noticing that the hop step is becoming a lot more popular.
He and Joe Corbett, New England knockout champions in the handicap tournament. Just the 5-pin for Surette. All he could do there. Barnes is too tall for the pin cam, but no shot is too strong for him. Nice spare on the 4-7-10. You gotta be able to leverage that sidewall to succeed in this game. And this time he actually has the wood, which was threatening to be frozen too much to the edge of the sidewall almost, off the sidewall cushion. But instead, goes for his second spare. Surette, that's better. 4-7. Barnes spare fill. Thin on the head pin. Still a fall though. Still the 7-pin goes, and it's 9. Surette spares, and he's got 46 in a ball at the half. High five. Barnes can't believe that didn't go.
That was nothing but roadblock and a half.
Jersey barrier, as they called it on King of the Palace, that old show on YouTube. You'll see it here as he collects that 10, and we take a look at how in the world that didn't work.
This was.
So he hits it off the foul line. He's off the red line, but the wood twirls, and the ball is deflected away because it was a perfect red line hit. It's interesting. So it's both a red line hit, but it's not directly at the angle of the red line. So it both generates the deadly pin revolution that costs the spare and the ball deflection that does too. Dave Barber, the 2 and 4, and our first look today at Brian Crowell. Far from the first look pro bowlers have had at Brian Crowell, alumnus of Channel 5's Candlepin Bowling Show with Don Gillis. Barber spares. 2-4-7. And yes, a 7-pin. Surprise, it comes out of the...
Comes off the wall.
Off the pin carousel almost as well. Comes from the depths of nowhere. Yeah, oh, so wood. I wonder if it got caught up on the little turntable that
it was on the turntable.
Takes the pins away.
It was on the turntable.
That's how the pins are getting swept back into the machine.
Well, they go on the turntable and they go up the lift so that way they can go into the tubes.
Right.
But I think that pin was literally standing on the turntable, and the turntable just had enough motion where it could tap the 7-pin back. Nothing illegal about that. No love for a Cleary.
Never is. Barber chisels through the wrong pin. He'll get stuck with 7. Not having the sort of day he's after. Surette's doing the best of the bunch. He was in the 350s. Everyone else is as low as 330s, which again is a good score and one you can build off of.
Especially in this house.
Which might mean the cut might be lower than we'd expect it to be.
Yeah.
Standard wood clearance from Crowell as he takes a 9-box, 24 through 2. Candlepin Bowling Network on Facebook and YouTube. Today, YouTube only. We're here at Leda Lanes in Nashua, New Hampshire, alongside a bunch of other streamers as well on TikTok. I mentioned Luke Marvin was streaming as well. Tony Levesque was when he and his son Max were here. Max we saw at the Candlepins for Cancer Candlepin Youth Showcase, excuse me.
The up-and-coming pros.
Yeah, the mixed-up graduates. That's the one. I got mixed up on the team. I got mixed up on the event name. There's so many. Crowell, good chance at the 6-10 here. He's got it. Wood spun on him a bit. That was worrying, but a good shot and justly rewarded. Dave gets 10. Dave and Allie Barber, Nate Lees and Lori Lewis, and Nick and Samantha Zuffalato, Pro Series co-organizers. Have printer, will travel. This one again, King of the Palace left calling it the Caleri for sure. Crowell, yikes. 5, 6, 7, 9, 10.
Hey, a picket fence.
Sure.
No love for a Caleri, no matter where you go.
We saw it go once already.
Yeah, we did. I just heard the worst rendition of Happy Birthday. 2 lanes away from us.
That would be saying something.
It sounded like...
I just want everyone to have fun. I mean, Happy Birthday is it's a bastard of a song to sing. It's just impossible to get it all.
On.
Oh, conjunction junction didn't function. Barnes has some choice words for the pins, and Crowell gets stuck with the 5-pin.
I'm not going to repeat what they are. As
observant viewers will have noticed here as Crowell takes 9 and Barber takes 8. I try to keep as much of the shenanigans in the bowling well out of the frame, but don't catch it all.
Oh, look at that. Dave Barber
with a big strike to cap off his first half. Crowell's got Chester Cove's favor, 1, 3, 4, 6, 8, and 10. way he deals left to right.
Nope.
That has a chance, but he went around the 10-pin. Austin Barnes sad about that. He's thinking his partner deserved better, and despite that, a solid 2-mark half, pinned well, 58 for Brian Crowell. Full scores here. It's a fine start. Jeff's feeling like he should have had a little more luck than what he's had so far. He's had some real doozies. Jeff Surette has won more Easter Classics than anybody else. Still they fall. Triangle number 4, 4, 7, and 8. Now a chance to build something up. Austin Barnes, 5-9. This plank covers it easily. Jeff Surette is back-to-back. Austin's left this 5-9. Great to see you out here. We've got a good devoted crowd watching these qualifiers. And in just a moment, it's going to heat up as the doubles knockout begins. Barnes takes 10.
That was a PG special.
Had a good time for that.
No. Oh, boy. How many is that today?
Not that many, I don't think.
It seems like every time I look up, I see the goalposts.
There's always the Greg Gouillart special where you're just nowhere near it on the second or the third, of course. But anyway. Surette's left our pet leave, 7-10. Austin Barnes has the garden variety, 1, 2, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Nothing. Even the ball carom didn't take it either. That wood's far too slow for the 7-pin, you'd think. Surette's going to plead with it anyway, but no.
A little.
He's apoplectic anyway.
A little more mustard on that ball, on that pin, it probably would have gone.
Well, no shortage of velocity in Jeff's delivery, of course. Surette takes 9. Barnes' third ball collects another stick, and that's 9.
Well, Jeff does throw a hard ball, as it is, but he probably lost some miles per hour on it as he gotten older, but I might want to be careful because Jeff and I are about the same age. Oh, it's a high-low plus the 3-pin.
But it's not your birthday party over on 35 and 36, to be clear. No, I know that. Jeff Surette has my birthday. And I'll stop mentioning that at some point. Mr. Caleri, I presume, now Surette. 1, 3, 7, and 10. Barnes' try now.
Jeff is like, I'm throwing the ball where I have to. I just can't get nothing to carry.
Just a game of almost.
There's a clear.
Austin Barnes with his third mark. That should be 9. That was definitely on the left side of that, I thought. As we see this 4-1 go again. It's so tough as opposed to 4 horsemen left on the 8-pin. But this time a full delivery takes out the 8-pin rather swiftly. Four and 2. We're in a bit of a rut here, seeing a lot of the same themes. Head pins, Barnes busts through with 7. So now he can pin out in the high 110s. Jeff 3 more. Not a lot of head pin splits, to be fair. Just a lot of funny things happen when you don't hit the entry angle into the pocket quite right. At some point you just think, oh, well, you don't want to miss the head pin. The odds are still better on the head pin. It's just that when it goes wrong, it goes really wrong on the head pin. Still Barnes pinning well. You see all those 10 boxes as well, so he's pinning better than 9 a box on even the frames where he's not getting his spares and strikes. Surette, yikes, 7-8. And I think he's just about given up on how to solve lane 32 at this point. Barnes does not entirely. Okay, now he hates the wood. Now that piece disappears, and now the 10-pin looks pretty lonely over there. Jeff Smith.
That could go.
Jeff Smith's second ball.
That could go.
7-8, I believe you. 10, I'm Jury's out. Ooh, and he sends everything in front of and behind the 10. Goodness gracious. Barnes denied, and that's a miss I'm going to want to see back again as he completes a 118.
Let's see how this goes.
It's red line.
It's red line, but a little more cap, I think it might would have carried.
Ain't that the way? Brian Crowell and Dave Barber get back up on 31 and 32 in this penultimate qualifying string. Top 24 men and top 6 women in their distinct tournaments will advance to the doubles knockout round to come. Top 8 get a first round bye. It's a knockout bracket pretty much like every other single elimination bracket works out. Finals will be on this pair of lanes. Thank you, Dave, for putting it there. Always appreciate it. Doing us a solid, not having to move our table. He's got the 1-2-10. Crowell has been mistakenly credited a strike on the scoreboard, or maybe it's psychic. Dave and Jeff you see on different partnerships, but both, same partnership, I beg your pardon. Both wearing the Lucky Strike shirt. Brian Crowell wearing the Penny Lane Bar and Grill Mixed Worlds team shirt, championship team. Last year's champion team, Coca-Cola Holbrook, which, incidentally, Dave Barber was on. His fill is 9 on the strike. Crowell, 3-1 split. 3-6-10. Crowell has been so strong for so long. Yeah, sure, you can hop on for a bit. An 8 for Crowell and 9 for Barber. He's got double pins, and alongside me for just a moment, Justin Kochi. Good to see you.
Good to see you too.
Oh, it's up. There we go. Go ahead.
How are you?
Doing all right. There you go. Get that in there.
How you doing today, Greg?
Doing all right. How was Bowling Candlepins for Cancer? First time on that TV show.
You know, that was a fun experience. Going against a great bowler named Keith. He had an awesome run. Proud to see him light it up all day. So.
And how was your doubles? You were doing the earlier shift today. How did that go today?
I went 575. My partner went 565. We went 1090. We should be all right. There's not a lot of high scores right now, so maybe sneak in. Who knows?
Yeah, I had a feeling the cut would be about, say, mid-110s, maybe high 110s, but it seems that Leda Lanes is tougher scoring conditions than most other places.
It is, and it's been tough all day, so, you never know. You could probably see a 1060, 1070 cut probably. You never know. A lot of the big guys are getting hot now, so.
Well, it's all the bowlers across the two shifts that'll decide the top 24 partnerships. Remind me your partner again, excuse me?
Luke Marvin.
Luke Marvin, that's right.
Bowls out of East Brookfield.
We saw you featured earlier.
He bowls out of Bogey Lanes in East Brookfield, I think it is.
That's right, East Brookfield, Massachusetts. Barber gets this spare.
There's a lot of good bowlers left. One big string. We'll see where everyone's at. So, there's a lot of time left, though. But
now you and Crowell picks up this 4 horsemen as well. You and Luke Marvin, you bowl at pretty geographically far off houses, don't you? How did the partnership come about, I suppose?
So I texted him about 2 weeks ago, and I was like, hey, you want to be my partner for the Pro Series?
Mm-hmm.
He's like, yeah, let's do it. And, here we are today on a fine
you just got to ask.
Saturday day. He's going to ask around. People might say yes, people might say no.
Crowell gets hosed on his spare fill.
That is
Barber can't get the 7-pin to drop.
What a bid by Dave.
Sorry, Justin. That was just so compelling. I had to point.
I'll tell you, you never see a leave like that with, the one Crowell has right now. That's a rough leave.
Yeah, right.
Let's see where he goes on it. You never know. You can get a friendly bounce off the wall. He goes right through there. A lot of people don't go right through the middle a lot.
By the way, here's Barber nearly getting this to go. And you see the 3-6. And yeah, that 7-pin is tapped a couple ways.
That's unreal.
Back to live, we see Crowell. Nice escape out of there after throwing the second ball down the void. And he's got 7.
You know, I'll be honest, I'm seeing a lot of low games on this side, too. There was a lot of low games over there, so.
Right.
You never know, you know, a couple rough games, you know, you could have a good shot.
And I assume you're referring to the fact that usually we would expect these high number lanes, 19 through 36,
side, yes.
to score a little bit higher.
100%. And, you know, it's Candlepin bowling. You never know what can happen on a good day, so.
Yeah. Well, I guess Barber's spare fill would have been 4 had he made that anyway, so darned if you do, darned if you don't.
Wow.
Now he makes the 3 and 2 split when that doesn't count for a mark. He's always 1 pin short.
Barber, he throws a great ball. He almost made that again, but Crowell, he's throwing a good ball too.
Yeah, only a little off on that triangle there, but 110's nothing to sneeze at, especially here at Leda.
Nice 10 by Dave. 108 for Barber. No, 109, I think. Yeah, 109.
109 and 111. Alongside guest commentator Justin Coachy here. Kevin, I think, is taking a bit of a break here, but fourth string comes to an end here. We see it here. Barnes and Crowell, 229. Surette and Barber, 214. We still got a box left or so.
We got Tim Douglas's box over there.
Yeah. We got to consider all 36 lanes after all.
Timmy threw a spare, I think. Yep, spare, 99 a ball.
And you folks out there can watch it as well. Pull down the YouTube description and you can get the Cubica AMF scores so we can snoop on everyone's scores. If you really want to snoop on the birthday party kids' scores from 35 and 36, you can. Information's all out there, I suppose, but the scores we all are here to see.
That's a tough one by Aaron.
We saw the outcome there on lane 28. The scores are blocking it a bit, I confess.
Well, here, let's see what Timmy throws him. Timmy off to the right a little bit, but got a favorable shot for a spare.
Can I peek this camera a little bit? Hang on, just make sure I get the set, and then...
Wow, there you go.
Now we get a better look here.
There we go.
Now we get an even better look.
Timmy, what a bid by Tim.
We'll get that camera back by the time fifth string starts up.
Aaron for 10. He got the 10. Aaron threw a 107. Timmy goes 113. Yep,
yeah, it looks like 113
for Timmy Douglas.
We don't have the Cubica in front of us. We got to squint at it. But there we go. Final string coming on up. And I'll set the camera around. Looks like we got the Allards coming up, Ryan.
I see Jeff Surette walking by us. How you doing, Jeff? Got a good group of guys around us today, and
as ever.
The next lane we got Bob Allard, or Brian Allard.
Brian Allard, yep, and Dan Allard.
Dan Allard, and we got Austin Barnes and Brian Crowell for the fifth string.
You got it, my friend.
So,
just bear with us, folks, getting it set here. So programming note, we will, after this string, end this stream, but immediately start a new one so that the knockout is its own stream for people to watch back later. But please do make sure you subscribe on YouTube and hit the bell icon if you're logged into YouTube, that is, so that you're always in the know about all our streams. Definitely hit the bell today so that you know when we go live. That way you will not miss out. String 5 is about to get started right here. No need for an audio timeout.
You're back.
And Kevin's back here.
All right, so I just want to say thank you, Greg, for letting me join, and I hope to make the cut. Thank you for letting me join.
Yeah, perhaps we'll see you later. I think you got a pretty good chance.
One thing to say. Okay.
Only one?
Wow.
Thanks so much. We'll just hand that right back to Kevin. And Kevin Burns alongside now Austin Barnes starting string number 5, and Brian Allard introduces himself with a strike. Barnes and Barnes has that strike as well. So you see his pinfall. I had my head down. His pins were falling slower. He almost got lapped on that strike.
I'm back.
Well, all the shenanigans, pins flying left and right, and now Barnes with a 6 fill to start his strike. Brian needs more than just those 3. Justin Coachy, we were talking to earlier, star of our recent Candlepins for Cancer show, and from the first shift as well, alongside Luke Marvin. I can't believe I forgot that detail. That was a little embarrassing, but Luke Marvin, up and comer out of Bogey lanes in East Brookfield. Austin 9 is fine out of that.
Well,
8 fill, 9 box.
Well, I know a little while ago he was crying because he wanted to go on the air, so I figured.
He sobbed and sobbed. No, it's fun to broadcast. I don't blame him.
I don't blame him either. I love broadcasting.
You got here first.
What?
But you got here first.
Exactly.
Austin Barnes, head pin, 5 pin. Wood twirling by its side, doesn't drop it.
I kind of retired from comparativeness, just, well, not really retired, but I kind of stopped doing the Pro Tour just so I can commentate a little more.
There's a spare. Pro Series, of course. Pro Tour, referring to the defunct WCBC World Candlepin Bowlers Congress Tour. It itself being defunct. I believe 2007 was its final tournament. Pro Series being a nice analog now.
Here's something for you. Keith Beaupre and Troy Fournier, 991 after 5.
After 4 strings.
After 4.
Yeah, it's nearly a 125 average.
Yeah.
Barnes only a 3 fill on that spare. Brian, yikes. He thought he threw a strike ball in that one too. Instead, 410. Barnes 1-6-10. Show us a shot, Brian. Can't get it off the wall that way.
Oh, he tried to.
It banks it off a little more, but I think the wood was stopping the momentum anyway, but that's very easy to say once the pins actually do the thing. 9 and 9. Great to be here, as always, at Leda Lanes, Nashua, New Hampshire. There weren't always Canadian flags there, but really acknowledges the international nature of our sport. All they'll say is we need a good United States-Canada relation. The world is just better that way, and Candlepin Bowling World is better that way as well.
Just don't let Donald Trump get into Candlepin Bowling, then we're going to have a big problem.
Without getting into the reasons why, as I mentioned, but yes. Yeah. 7 pins out for Brian Allard.
Come on, you just opened the door for that one, Greg.
Barnes 6-pin cluster. Brian 7-pin. The ball was on the plate for the longest time and just disappeared off the back. Whether it would have had enough force hitting the 7-pin, we don't know. 9 box in 10. So 54 half and a 58 half. And now over to Dan Allard and Brian Crowell. There have been past presidents who have bowled here. George W. Bush was one, and I believe Bill Clinton did as well, but I'm not 100% positive.
Yes, he did.
Obviously, New Hampshire, not as much of a battleground state as it has been in the Electoral College, but at the time, what better way to get right into the culture of northern New England?
Bill Clinton bowled here, and George W. did. Right. I don't know if Barack did, but I know Clinton and Bush did.
Haven't heard of that happening. Brian Crowell begins with a spare. Dan Allard, 1-3, 9 and 10.
Oh, trust me, if Trump bowled here, I would have been the other way.
Crowell, I know some folks out there might believe differently on the other hand, but I respect that opinion. Brian Crowell currently 23rd in the Pro Series standings.
Is he on the bubble? Is he?
Yep, on the bubble. Joey Lister behind him, and Ryan Southall just barely on the wrong side. Blaze and JB Gothy are not that far off either.
Blaze isn't here, so he's going to drop down more. Bovier is just digging himself into a further hole because he didn't do it.
16 for Crowell. Head pin. See ya. Dan Allard with a strike. Three, 6-10 ripped away for Crowell.
Oh boy, this isn't good. Hey, there's a rack without a head pin.
Huh. Well, I guess one of the conveyor belts didn't necessarily drop the pin down all the way because 10 conveyor belts have to push the pins into place.
Oh, boy. Come on, not now.
Strike at the second for Allard. Crowell 26 through 2. Allard will have to re-rack here. Crowell takes aim. 3-5-10, excuse me. I was thinking 7-pin, looking over at lane number 31. He'll wait for that button to engage. You can see Dave Godwin just to his left that we sadly won't get the chance to see. Too bad. He's been having quite a resurgence. You see also wearing that Lucky Strike uniform, along with his partner, Jimbo Ayotte, who's been a champion of this Pro Series many times before. Crowell's waiting to throw his third ball. Now Dan Allard can catch up with a full rack. His try on lane 31 on a strike. Did he get iced? You be the judge. 1-3-4-7-10. Brian, it's a 9-box, that's fine. Dan still looking for 6 on the strike, and boy, did he get them. Take another look as the 1-3-4-7-10 gets blown up. Crowell didn't get the entry angle he wanted. 6, 7, 9, and 10. You gotta hit these pins the right way or it just doesn't go. Someone said hi to me, but I didn't notice. 9 drop. Dan Allard, 46 through 3. Brian, the Channel 5 alumnus, Fenway Academy World's runner-up, trying to get this to go. Can't get anything off that front piece of wood. Dan's missed an opportunity here. Could have had a 70 half at this rate, the way he's been going. Crowell collects a 9. He's got 44 through 4, a very solid string. And Dan Allard, you know what that is, 56 through 4. Great crowd out there, Candlepin Bowling Network on YouTube. We will be back with another stream soon with the doubles knockout round in just a moment.
That's what it's doing. It's not
the head pin dropping out on 31.
No. I just saw what it did. It had the head pin in the tube, and when it hit the plate, it brought the head pin back up.
Isn't that interesting? Brian Crowell gets the strike. 4-pin. Dan Allard has to wait, so we have an opportunity to peek here. I see, it was a little late on the button for some reason, but you see the satisfying mix all the same.
That time it crashed.
Yep, so sorry, it's a thought that Dan Allard's ball will be that powerful to do that, of course, but a little bit of a lane malfunction. So to explain, folks, the Pro Series, a monthly series of events across multiple houses and multiple formats. Points are awarded for high finishes in both qualifying you see here and the playoff round, in this case the doubles knockout round to come later. Dan Allard fighting for those points right now, Brian Crowell fighting for those points, trying to get out of 23rd right now. The Allards bowl a lot of these events, and especially the doubles formats together, but aren't in the Pro Series proper. That looks like a full rack of 10 pins, and Dan can fire away at that. You can also see the telltale, another pin ends up on the pin rack, and this is how impressive it is for Leda Lanes to be maintaining all this machinery, that even when it breaks down, you still have to remark on how many other lanes are just exquisitely maintained, as you see people going in and out back in the back curtain as well, a real family affair no less. And these are old mechanical machines. They're fussy. They've got a lot of moving parts. The slightest deviation in the timing belt can cause the biggest headaches, and to get it fixed as quickly as they do is quite impressive.
Well, let's not forget about the breakdown that happened during Easter. It took Sean almost 2 hours to fix that.
Sean Howard, the owner here. Dan Allard gets that spare, and nothing messed up about his timing at all despite the delay. 66 in a ball to work through at the half. And there we are. So the Allards doing quite well for themselves, averaging that 120 we're after. Barnes and Crowell, still room to improve, and Crowell's got that strike fill anyway. Austin Barnes has had a tough go of it in the Friday Night Pro League recently, but he'll be an Easter Classic champion forever, and it just means he's not far off having another resurgence soon. He's got the 4 Horsemen 7 and 8. He's got his head pin 6, 7, 10.
Brian with a 3-2 split.
So a tough one here. So 7 boxes for each, so losing about half a mark in that frame. And so we're looking for cuts. We were talking about it with Justin Coach. He thinks his mid-110s average for him and Luke Marvin might be enough to keep them in the mix in the top 24. We'll see. It's a shame we don't get to see Scott and Tim Douglas bowling. They're just over there tantalizingly on lane 28. But alas, we can only feature so many. Brian's got a setback leave, 5, 6, and 10. That's what we call it anyway. Barnes 6 to work out of, trying to get it off the wall, trying to get the mix. 9 pin. Stands tall. Now he's got to jump the woods somehow. He was trying to get it off the left side. Barnes takes a 9 box, 74 through 7. Brian Allard on the red line. It's going to push forward because of the ball deflection, and that is one of the stranger 10 boxes I have ever seen. We're going to want to watch this one back because I can't recall the last time I've seen a leave go quite like this. Watch how the ball hits the 6 pin, and then the ball coerces the horizontal wood to push the 5 and the 6 forward. You never know which pin's going to be the winner, and you never know if a strange fluke like that could make you a tournament qualifier. Austin Barnes triangle 4, 4, 7, 8.
Oh, after making a nice shot like he just did, he comes back and punches a half Worcester.
At least it's not on a spare, but still. Barnes, oh, he's crossed over on this one and left the 8 pin. Harsh one, he's got his object pin. Allard grabbing a ton of sticks here, but he's left the head pin. Barnes gets 9. Brian Allard doesn't only compete in teams competition. I distinctly remember him having a playoff run in the 3-man random draw teams at Lakeside Lanes in Manchester, New Hampshire during last year's Pro Series. Still a wonder how Justin Coachy and Luke Marvin connected, considering how geographically opposite they are. And now remember, Coachy bowls at a Lakeside a lot. 3, 6, 7, 10. Not even in the same state for those of you out of state or out of country who want to know the geography. Barnes just misses the 2-pinner. Austin's got just the 5. Brian, this wood was blocking the 3-6 pocket. He's missed it altogether. Barnes takes a 9 box here, 92 through 9. And still that wood isn't disturbed. Brian Allard a 9 box, 90 through 9. So remember, folks, please subscribe on YouTube and hit the bell icon if you're logged into YouTube so that you're in the know about our knockout stream to come. It's a single elimination 24-seed bracket. Top 8 get a first-round bye. And we look forward to seeing you then, as the action is going to be fast and furious. 1-string matches, win or go home. And if you win, you have to go home too. Leda Lanes does have to close at some point.
Yeah, 10 o'clock.
Leda Lanes in Nashua, New Hampshire.
The house that Chris Bovier built.
Please come during opening hours. Spare, 3, 6, 10. Brian Allard will go 11, so to speak. I mean, it'd be the house the Seminoles built, technically. That's going to be out of the channel. You'd figure that would be a 9-box for Barnes, so that's how I'll mark it for now. It is the bowler's decision, but yes, that will be a foul. We never make the determination of foul calls with the possible exception of Candlepins for Cancer, and even there we outsource to Mark Ritchie for the Riverwalk Lanes show. But in a tournament like this where we're just here to cover it, we absolutely do not make fair or foul calls. We may speculate, and at the very least, we will not influence it by helping out the bowlers. That's a rule that you must make the fair call without influence. Brian Allard, 107. Austin Barnes, 101. We turn it over to Dan Allard, who's having an amazing half, 66 plus at the half. Brian Crowell has the chance to go north of 60. Very solid in its own right. My name's Greg Gouillart. I'm alongside Kevin Burns here on Candlepin Bowling Network. Other coverage available as well. No, we haven't seen any of the women's coverage on this particular stream, but Paul Grant's got you covered there, and Steve Kelly as well. As far as I know, I don't know if he's streaming his own lane or if he's just got his own rig and he's covering it as well.
He's actually bowling, but
he's covering it too. Okay, he's covering his bowling, I suppose.
Yes.
And he did a great job covering as well when the Pro Series final was here as well, the one that Aaron St. Cyr defeated Danny Harris at.
Well, we had wall-to-wall coverage that day, if you remember. It
That
was me, you, Bob.
But the beauty is it's all 10 strings, basically, one way. 5 2-string matches. It works out the same as the qualifier and the 1-string matches here. Crowell has a harsh 6-fill. Dan Allard is split as well to contend with. Now he'll look for the out, and he gets it. That's 9, as is Allard's. We take those 9s where we can get them. A lot of bowlers like me out there suffering in leagues, and that's the point of a league. Just go out there and have fun with bowling. The handicap makes it possible so that everyone can compete. It's meant to incentivize participation, so even if Candlepin isn't in your neck of the woods, just go bowling. It's fun, and the leagues make it possible to compete no matter how good you are. 5 pins aside, the lanes are unlinked, but you get my point. I see that whirling dervish over there on lane 30. That was impressive. Shows you the power of Dave Godwin's ball. Allard. That's Crowell, beg your pardon. Now Allard. He's got the 4 horsemen. 2-pinner left standing for Brian. All 9s and 10s to this point. He's missed this one, though. Been a while since there's been a caster curse, I suppose. 10 box for Dan Allard, 92 through 7. So still a good string for him. Just with the 1 strike and the 2 spares. All those 10 boxes are going a long way. The couple of 10 boxes and a 9 box as well. But with 26 bonus pins and just those 3 marks, that's how important a strike spare or a spare strike combination is. Brian Crowell, 4 horsemen and 7. Dan on lane 31. Tags the 7-pin, and that makes this more possible, even though the wood isn't perfectly covering the 9 and 10. Crowell got just on the head pin. Dan didn't get a piece of the wood, unfortunately. Such a fine margin, and the gap may have been too wide there. Brian will collect 8 and Dan 10. Stay tuned, another stream coming up soon. The doubles knockout is soon to come. We will get standings and brackets for you as soon as we get a chance. What we likely will do is as soon as we can photograph the evidence, we'll post it on Candlepin Bowling Network Facebook as soon as we get a chance. Brian tries to get it out there, but doesn't get it all the way back to the middle of the lane. Dan's got a half Worcester. So stay tuned for that here on Candlepin Bowling Network on YouTube. Remember to follow along Candlepin Bowling Network Facebook for stats coming into today and present stats as well. boy. Just the 3-pin toppling out of the way for Dan Allard. He's going to have to do a lot to pin this out. Crowell has an easier escape. He's got 10. Allard trying to snap it off the wall, nothing doing. He gets 7. So loses 3 pins there, but still the chance to go into the high 110s plus a mark. Gets him a perfectly pro-grade string. 3 spares and a strike we figure is sort of the average pro candlepin string, a 120 average bowler that would be. Brian Crowell has the diamond and the 7-pin. Allard has a chance here with the 1, 3, 6, and 7. Not impossible, at least it's all in the same diagonal plane if you think about it. Crowell really trying to slice that diamond. He somehow overcuts the 5 and the 7. Goodness. Dan's missed his object pin. May clean out the head pin anyway. We'll see. It gets bumped, but doesn't fall. Ryan, ouch. 3 pins get away on the end. So not the finishes either we're after, but 117 and a 102, and we see the full scores here. Brian Allard and Dan Allard combined 224 for an average of 112. And Austin Barnes, Brian Crowell, very similar. Tough scores for both. We can actually take a look here on the Cubica AMF together as we start to wind down this broadcast, but 538, I'm sorry, let's see here. I'm still waiting for it to refresh, actually.
I just got it. It's 1094, 1106.
1094 for the Allards and 1106 for Barnes and Crowell. That's right. So that's what we have there. You can ignore the won and lost columns there if you were looking at that, of course, because these matches are not head-to-head right now, but they will be in just a moment. The doubles knockout is soon to come here from Leda, Lanes, and Nashua. We're signing off on this broadcast now, but please stay tuned. Another broadcast beginning soon on Candlepin Bowling Network on YouTube, and we will see you soon for that. And the top 24 men and the top 24 pairs of men and the top 6 pairs of ladies. And we will be back with that in just a moment here on YouTube. Please subscribe and hit the bell icon so you're in the know. And this is Greg Gouillart alongside Kevin Burns here on Candlepin Bowling Network saying, for now, so long.